My brothers and sisters in Christ, in today's gospel we hear Jesus ask his disciples who they think he is and then rebukes them, rebukes Peter when he says that he is the Christ. And it's part of this back and forth, this conditioning that Jesus is preparing his apostles for, which is the scandal of the cross. Now that they're beginning to buy into who he really is, he needs them understand what that means and what it means to be his true disciple. And so in this light of this time where we see Jesus in his great tenderness and compassion versus the other times where he's very, very stern and challenging to them, when we hold this up in the light with the first reading from Ecclesiastes, I spoke a little bit yesterday about the book of Ecclesiastes as a whole, but we hear this famous passage, of a time to live, a time to die, of all these alternates. And it speaks to us of something very important in the spiritual life. We're called to constantly grow in virtue, and the virtue of those four cardinal virtues, the one that is spoken of as kind of the chief of the virtues is that of prudence. Prudence is that virtue which helps us to not only know the right, but to discern what is right and the best means by which to achieve that which is right. And so a lot of the times people, sadly, sometimes people don't even try to discern what's right, but even when we commit ourselves to doing that which is right, seeking the good, that's only half the battle. Prudence helps us to know the best means by which to get to the good. Sometimes it's not the way that's most obvious. And so, Jesus, we can say certainly in his kindness, the way he wants to, bring his disciples along at times, this requires great patience. At other times it requires him challenging. Same thing if you think of a parent with their child, those times of the tender, affectionate love versus the tough love a parent has to give. Both of them are motivated for the child's good. Both of them are trying to achieve the same end, but realize at different times that requires different paths. In the same way, Ecclesiastes speaks of all these goods, and we need to know what the right time is. The time, whether it's for the tough love or the affectionate love, but also to be prudent in how we pursue the good in the sight of God. Sometimes, for example, people have a great zeal for truth. That's good. But in our zeal for truth, we need to know when is the time to be heavy-handed versus the time very light in touch. Perhaps my desire to help move someone to light, if I come on too strong, I'll actually drive them away from that good. I'm still motivated by that desire for truth or someone's growth, but I need to be prudent in how I pursue that end. And so, my brothers and sisters, prudence is extremely important as we seek to grow in all of these virtues. Prudence is the one that helps us to govern. It's the one, if you will, that steers the car, the ship. Yes, we hope for, the great wisdom and temperance and fortitude and these things, but we also need the prudence to know when and where. What is the right time to do this? What is the right mode? What is the best means to do this? So first of all, I need to discern what is good, but second of all, I need to discern what is the best way to pursue that good. And that, indeed, helps us to move towards true holiness. May God bless you.